Good morning and welcome to the FNB Wines2Whales, the Champions Chase. Well, something completely new this morning. We would have loved to have been out in the open at the actual Wines2Whales. But we joined with multiple national downhill champion Andrew Nettling. How's it, Andrew? How are you doing today?
Yeah, good, man. It's really good to be here. It's like you said, it's something new, it's something different, and we've all had to adapt in what was an interesting year. But it's good to see something like this in front of us. I'm really looking forward to seeing people suffer. It's a bit of a pastime of mine now, and we've got some real names in the field as well.
Some massive names in the field. It's great to see the guys that have come on board for such a great initiative. I mean, it's a fun morning. It's going to be over very, very quickly. You're going to need to watch what these guys are doing. We've got fantastic riders out there, and as Andrew said, we get to sit and watch them suffer it out over about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. We're going to head on over to the godfather of the FNB Wines2Whales.
Morning, morning. Welcome to the FNB Wines2Whales Champions Chase. Hope you all have warmed up sufficiently and mentally you're aligned to a fast chase. Also thanks to the champions, top cyclists who volunteered to be part of this chase, and the top teams, men and women, who offered to donate their prize money to our charities. It's not only about the chase and the cycling and stretching the legs and the lungs, it's also about stretching the rands for donations towards our beneficiaries that's close to our hearts. Very proud of the riders in the previous virtual race who donated 100,000 Rand for the Bot River Crash initiative. Well done, guys. So if you're more outdoor aligned, also join us, our FNB Wines2Whales Strava Club, and go and ride on one or two of the trail sections in South Africa. We can win some wonderful prizes sponsored by wineries and some of our other sponsors. Lastly, two things. Quite sad to not see you on the trails this year, especially the new ones that we built for the switchback. But don't worry, next year the surprise is only going to be bigger. And then guys, please stay COVID safe, do the drills, respect the drills, and I better move on. Here they come. See you later. Cheers.
Well, it's great to hear from the founder himself, JK, and he's right. It really is today about giving back to some of these charities as well.
Yeah, and it's also great to see the amazing sponsors that have come on board. There is really great prizes up for grabs, including, and I'm giving a little bit of the secrets away here, but there's 4 Wines2Whales entries available for 2021, and 2 of them will be won right here. Well, there you can see up on screen at the moment. And thanks to all those guys that have contributed, FNB, CBC, Chia Vita, that amazing kit, Falky, Land Rover, and the likes of it. That bicycle, and we'll mention that a little bit later, the BK bikes up for grabs as well, and 90,000 Rand. Moving on to our riders, we've got some celeb riders out there. Carl Brown, Clinton McIntosh, these are our community riders. Team Exara, Leonda and Lorenzo. Well, they won it last year in 2019 for Exara and got the colours there, riding for BMT. Then in our pro women, and we've got a great field of pro women out there, Annika Langval, Barbara Benko, 2 formidable riders, a 5-time world XCM champion, and moving on to Ariane Luti, we know fairly well from the Stellenbosch scene, Samara Shepherd, all the way from New Zealand, 2 formidable riders there. Then, of course, in studio with us at the moment, the ever wonderful Mariska Strauss, CST Post NL Bafang, and Samantha Saunders for Team Dormacabre. Moving on to our men, and an exciting list of riders out there. Team Cannondale, Factory Racing, Manuel Fumik and Maxime Marotta. And we're going to go live to him, hopefully, to Maxime. So, great stuff there, guys. Alan Hatherley, well, we know we had a bit of issues just before we went live. He broke his trainer, obviously pushing out way too many watts again. The under-23 World XCO champion. Carl Froberg and Franz Klaus, two formidable riders as well. You can see there, 4th in the FNB Wines2Whales in 2018. Of course, Matt Beers, one of our local stars for Team Nanotime, and his partner Nico Bell. Well, Matt Beers is in studio with us, and myself and Andrew will be crossing over to them. And then two of our Zwift champions, Eddie Houle from the Eastern Cape, and Aaron Borrell. How's it, Aaron? I know he's watching us. He is an expert in the Zwift racing scene. So welcome to the two of them. It's going to be interesting to see what those two boys can do. They might just upset the pro riders. So Andrew, it's anyone's guess. Up on your screen now at the moment, the Road to Ruins. You can see the course layout there. 29.6 kilometers and just over 269 meters of climbing.
Yeah, we've got an exciting race on our hands. We're going to get to the pros later. And we've got, like you said, two-time defending champion Matt Beers in the field. But then you've got sort of, we're calling them wild cards.
Yeah.
Because I think they've got a very good chance of upsetting some of the pros. And let's not forget, you know, the amateurs are going to be going out ahead. And we're hoping that the pros catch them. Maybe all of them do. I wonder what they're going to focus on catching the amateurs or beating the other pros.
Beating the other pros.
You don't want to get bantered for not catching the amateurs that are doing this for fun.
100%. Well, one of those amateurs, and I wouldn't say amateurs, let's call them community riders. We're going to try and cross over to Kyle Brown, an exceptional athlete. Well, there they go. Kyle Brown and Clinton McIntosh. Well, Clinton, I haven't seen you in a while. Clinton McIntosh and Kyle Brown riding for Team Land Rover. How's it, guys? It's great to see you.
Can you guys hear us out there, Kyle?
They're finding it hard to talk.
So they can hear us, but they're refusing to chat back. They're trying to conserve energy. It is going to be a fast-paced race out there. It's only 29 Ks, so you've got to empty the tank.
Yeah. And Carl Brown, formidable sevens player, one of the most capped captains. Great to have him on board. And Clinton, such a great rider. Yeah, we get to see him at every Wines2Whales, and it's difficult to chat to them now because they're busy training. But good to see you guys. Welcome to the virtual Champions Chase. So prize money up for grabs, pro men and women. In first place, 10,000 Rand. This is equal prize purse. Second place, 5,000 Rand. In third place, 2,500 Rand. Now, how cool is this, Andrew? They get to donate to any one of our official beneficiaries. And I mean, I think it's such an awesome gesture. They've taken their time out to come and do this for the various different initiatives that Wines2Whales look after every single year.
Yeah, I mean, the likes of Annika, she's retired from racing, but she's offering up her time so that potentially she can donate some of this money to our beneficiaries or the Wines2Whales beneficiaries. So I think that's just the name of the game here. And there you see them on screen, Cape Trails, Boort River, Chris, JK spoke about them. It's an amazing list of beneficiaries.
Yeah, I mean, we get to see the guys from De Rest Futura School every single year. Waterpoint number 2 on day 2. Incredible what the kids are being taught there in terms of musical experience and yeah, Cape Leopard Trust, also one of the notable beneficiaries. So well done to our pro riders that are going to donate. So pro riders, there's no pressure. You have to take on the community riders or our amateur riders in order to give over that prize money. Well, we're up on the start line at the moment. Andrew, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, we are about ready for this. This is when normally the nerves settle in, but you are at home, so you're not really sure who's next to you and who's not. So it's a super interesting thing, and we are 4 seconds to go. The pros are about to leave. Good mix of riders because you've got the likes of the Zwift experts, you've got the likes of some young road champs throwing their name in the hat, and then obviously we've got Manuel Fumig, who does a lot of off-season training in South Africa. I've ridden with him, so that's been pretty good. And then you've got, I mean, our defending champion. There's just a pretty eclectic mix of riders out here having a good time. donating their time back to charity in a sense.
Well, one thing that we should actually note, and we might not have mentioned this before, Matt Beers has taken the Wines2Whales, the actual 18 in 2019. So he's a formidable rider, a tall man. He's got huge amount of power that he can lay down for a very long time. So I think we're going to chat to. Are we going to chat to Matt? He's in the studio right next door to us. We can see him. You're going to chat to Matt.
That one. Oh.
So we're just looking to see if Matt can hear us there.
Matty Beers. Us.
Okay, so we're just waiting to get connected to Matt, but the tall defending champion of Wines2Whales. You let us know when you can hear us, Matt.
Yeah, I think they can hear us now. We can hear them hearing us. Matty Beers, how's it, man?
Not too bad. And yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Myself and Andrew can sort of see you through the corner of our eye. You've been training, warming up for the last, so you've got to put in the legs before you get started.
Matt, tell me, have you got a goal here? Are you looking to just make sure you don't get beat by any amateurs, or are you looking to take on the pros as well for the win?
At this point, I'm just trying to catch up to everyone again. But once I've done that, then maybe I can start thinking about some tactics here.
Well, Matt, I saw you 2 weeks ago out at another race, 85 Ks, and I was chatting to some of the guys in the top end of the field, and they said at about 27 Ks to go, you sort of just dropped them, you waved them goodbye, and you put the hammer down. But we know you like that. You can put out those watts for very long. Slightly different today. We've got 29 Ks, so you've got to put the hammer down as hard as possible for a very short space of time.
Yeah, so obviously we've had a lot of experience on this platform, too much maybe, but it's a whole different type of racing, and it seems I've caught back up to the guys, so that's a good thing. Yeah, we're gonna have to go pretty hard. 8 minutes is not easy to catch up on Zwift, so I'll probably start sweating like a pig very soon, and then yeah, the fun will start.
Let me tell you, good to have you out here with us. 2018, 2019, taking the title. So slightly different this morning. Just really good to have you back here with us in the studio right next door. So thanks, Matty.
No problem. Glad I could come and try and win some money for good causes.
Oh, brilliant. All right. So if you are tuning in live, maybe a warm welcome to each one of our viewers. If you are at home or you've just got off a training ride, great to have you with us. So we're on Aaron Borrell now. Now, Andrew, Aaron is ex-South African. He's living out in London. He's a bike editor and a formidable name in the circles of Zwift racing. Him along with, there we go, that's him there. Along with Eddie Houle, which is a teammate of his. Eddie Houle absolutely obliterated the field on Monday during the Masters SA Series. Now, I get to chat and see these guys every single Wednesday night. Eddie Houle put a lead of about 40 seconds into the rest of the field, and it's a formidable field. So I hope we can we patch into Aaron Borrell? Can Aaron hear us? Okay, so our race director says he's racing too hard, so he's not going to chat to us. But let me tell you, what these guys do on Zwift racing, and some of them race 3 days in a week. So we had the likes of Eddie Houle raced Tuesday night, then came and did the Masters SA Series, and then raced again on Thursday, and back here this morning. So these guys really can sustain lots of power output.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is giving some guys a real chance to show how fit they are, show how physically gifted they are, and I think that doesn't always translate on the road. It's a very different format, and we've been chatting a lot off air and getting a full understanding of it, some of the tactics that go into it. There are some different ones. I think it's really cool, and obviously COVID has people to get used to it, to start using it, and some.
And let me tell you, there are some amazing trainers out there. And look, if you look on the screen there now, we're looking at Eddie Hull. Now, we were just chatting about him. There he is. You can see his avatar and you can see him. So it looks like he's busy dying out on the bike. How's it, Eddie? In fact, Eddie, we need to do an off-air interview with you a little bit later again, probably this afternoon, after myself and Andrew. So you can see him sort of smiling there. Eddie,
I'm not sure that's a smile. I think he's gasping for air.
Is he gasping for air? Look, if he's gasping for air, he can maintain that for the next 40 odd minutes. So let me tell you, some of the pro riders, Maddie, if you can hear me, because they can hear us on the monitor speakers over there. Matt, you've got an online Zwifting champion in the mix. So there's a bit of a chase that's going to happen. I see Alan Hathley is with us. Can we cross over to Alan, guys? Cool. We're going to cross over to FNB's Stefan at the moment. He's just going to chat a little bit about.
Hi, I'm Stefan Klaassen from FNB, and it's our privilege to be involved this year in the FNB Wines2Whales Champions Chase. Now, behind me is a photo of Onrus and Onrus Beach, just to remind everyone of the beautiful environment in which this event normally takes place. Now, you'd have come along the beach here, go around the houses, and then race for the finish right here at the campsite. But today, it's on Zwift, and it's all about beating the pros. So thank you for joining us on Zwift, and we hope your legs will last all the way. And of course, then there's the Strava segments in Johannesburg, Cape Town, the Free State, and KZN. So challenge your friends and at least try to do a personal best. And I'm going to do the one in Cape Town tomorrow. As FNB, we love supporting this event. It creates a lot of jobs, brings in many tourists, and helps a number of charities that operate in the area. So join us for all the parts of this. And we hope to see you again next year at the physical event in October 2021.
This is one of our pro women in the field, Annika Langval. Well, she's no stranger to this race and an XCM champion, in fact, 5-time XCM champ. Andrew, you might have met her once or twice, a formidable rider.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, she's got an amazing career in the sport, and it was sad to see her, hang up her racing boots. But there's always a time that does come, and she's qualified in dentistry, which to me was a big surprise, going from racing around the world to looking at people's teeth. But different things kind of tickle other people's fancies. But what's great is, I mean, she's retired. You would think the last thing she'd want to do is really get in the hurt box again. And there's a visual of her, but she's a great ambassador for the sport, and that is true to her nature. Hand over some of her time. Let's see how hard she can suffer, and if she can win, she can donate it to one of her decided charities, to the Wine2Whales.
So we're going to just check. Can we chat to her? Is it possible that we can speak to her? Can she hear us? It would be good to chat to Annika. You can see her on screen if you're watching in. How's it, folks? We're on board with Annika Langval at the moment. All right, so as we ask her just to unmute her mic, we're going to try and see if she can while she's, you can see she's putting out a bit of watts there at the moment. In fact, can we just check what she's doing? 50 watts? And maybe we can check what she's doing watts per kilogram. It would be quite interesting to see those stats. So the folks that don't know virtual racing in the Zwift world, Andrew, it does somehow get overwhelming to the guys that have maybe only checked in now. There's power-ups, there's those type of things. I would have liked to have got Aaron online, because he's the guy that can chat us through all of those things. But incredible format of racing, and Andrew, you alluded to it earlier, how it's changing the landscape of cycling.
Yeah, I think everyone's getting into cycling, and there's a lot of corporates, and they've got busy schedules. So how cool is it that, especially in winter, you could come home from work, say hi to the family, and then go get on Zwift and have a race and kind of get those competitive juices flowing, because a lot of people that take up the sport do want to see themselves improve, do want to test themselves, and this is a fascinating way to do it.
And just having a look at Annika, you can see it's, if you don't have a proper fan in front of you or an aircon running, it can get pretty damn hot in your studio or in your man cave or in your lady cave. Wherever you are, it gets hot. I know our riders have got aircons and they've got 2 fans in front of them. Trust me, you build up quite a bit.
I think everyone's made that mistake when they hop on their first trainer session. My girlfriend actually getting into triathlon, and we set it up during COVID. And I said, do you want the fan? And she had no idea why I'd asked the question, but within 20 minutes she said, please get the fan, because there's no air resistance.
Yeah.
There's no, it's why we go and ride, is to be out in nature, and we can't right now. So this is pretty cool. I love what they do, the graphics. I think what a fascinating, business that they've built here.
Yeah. It's an incredible format of racing, and good to see the guys like Woolworths coming on board. We're going to cross over to the guys from Exoro. Well, here we go, folks. There we go. Our 2 Exoros. They're out in Stellenbosch at the moment. Lorenzo Leroux, I know him fairly well. Lorenzo, if you can hear me, how's it? We're not going to talk to them. I think they're too busy riding. And Leonda, the 2 riders riding for Exoro from the guys from Stellenbosch.
Yeah, and they won the Exoro jersey last year for development, under age of under 26, and that's great to see Exoro, supporting that, as well as Wines2Whales. And we talk about it, and we should talk about it. It's cool to see a race giving back, not only to people that can have, one of the most fierce rides in the world, or the most fierce. And that's obviously a South African term. If there's any international ones, that's just... How would you describe fierce? Direct translation?
Ooh, it's a tough one. It's supposed to
be vibe,
it's supposed to be vibe, spirit type of thing. But let me tell you, all across the world, it's known as the race with fierce. Very interesting. If we could get one of our English riders to come in and ask them to say fierce, it's a funny thing to listen to. So. All right, folks, we are going to head on to another one of our amazing partners. In fact, one of the guys that we were meant to ride with us from Team Ineos, Ben Swift from the UK.
Hey guys, it's Ben Swift here from the Ineos Grenadiers. Sorry I can't chase you down during the FNB Wines2Whales Champions Chase, but I've just finished helping Teo win the Giro. I wish you all the best, and we'll be following this year's race on the live broadcast. To make it up to you, we'll be giving away a prize where you can join me for a Zwift training session. Take a look at the caption below to find out how you can win.
Well, just chatting to Andrew offline, Ben, I don't know if you can remember this, but myself and Ben actually rode sort of half Cape Town cycle tour about 4 or 5 years ago. It was great to catch up with such an amazing rider. So Ben, thanks very much. Andrew, who we got on screen there, bud?
Well, speaking of amazing riders, Manuel Fumig, he had a tough year. I mean, not just the COVID and not knowing when you're going to race, but he had a horrible injury that he's been bouncing back. So obviously not the best year for him, but so great to see him here. He's always one of the most positive guys out on the circuit. Comes out to South Africa for off-season training. I've had coffees with him in the shop and all that. So it's really nice to see everyone embracing South Africa as an off-season training ground. Obviously we know of Nino Schurter that's won the Cape Epic, and he has a place out in Stellenbosch. So, I mean, it's just cool to see South Africa with the likes of Cape Epic, Wines2Whales, put themselves on the international cycling map.
And you were just saying about Manny Fumik. He's probably one of the most approachable riders. And it's great to, when he's out here, I know he trains a lot with Lance Stevenson, one of the guys out in Grabo area. When he's out here, well, they spend a lot of time together. So I know they might be able to hear us. So if you can hear us, the Team Cannondale Racing guys, how's it? Glad to have you with us. Just having a look at the type of watts that he's pushing out there. I'm just trying to see on the screen. So about 300 is his average at the moment. Right, we're back onto Alan Hathley, one of our under-23 world XCO champs. In fact, is the star of South African mountain biking in the XCO circles.
Yeah, and he's had quite a year. You know, it's obviously an interesting year to prepare and to peak at the right time. But I mean, he's coming off a podium, a 5th place at World Cup number 2 at Nova Mesta, 6th place at number 1. There was really only one big race there, but 2 at the same venue. So it was tough for the guys. But I mean, that's pretty cool for Alan to go into the off season knowing, hey, you know, I did my work.
Yep.
It paid off. He's got a podium. He can have a good off season and then build for next year.
And a pint-sized young lad, you can see him at the bottom part of your the screen over there. He's probably out in Somerset West now. I think he lives out in your side of the world now. And you can see the type of power this young gentleman can put out. You look there on your screen, he's at about 340 as an average. So how's it, Alan? If you are listening to the live feed, I hope you're doing okay. He's out of the saddle now. These guys are now chasing our community riders.
Yeah, so they're 16 minutes in. They are definitely starting to hurt now. As you can see, Matt Beer is on that leaderboard, Alan Hathey, that we are tuned into. I mean, it is only going to get worse from here. I think they've done a little warm-up, and now, you know, there's people going for breaks, people trying to really put the hurt on the other riders. And it's fascinating watching these races, because normally you're racing next to someone.
Yep.
You can gauge, you can, you know, look at them. Obviously, Lance Armstrong was really well known as having a poker face. But now you have no idea how much hurt your opponent is going through.
So, Andrew, the secret there is that you have a second screen or your laptop, and you've got your wife or your girlfriend sort of helping you out, or your boyfriend helping you out.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely scary that they can gauge each other like that. Just heading on to the Exaro guys.
Hello everyone, my name is Malusi Utelezi from Exaro. We are happy to be participating in this year's FNB Wines2Whales Chase. It's going to be on Zwift, virtual because of COVID. Our guys have been training, our riders are going to be there, riding hard, and we can't wait for next year's ride. Good luck to everyone.
Pro woman again, and I haven't heard too much about Barbara Benko. In fact, one of my favorite riders. There we go, we're just talking about her. Barbara, if you can hear me on the other side of the world in Hungary, one of my favorite riders. She in fact rode with her dad last year at the FNB Wines2Whales, and we spent a bit of time together. She is a young lady that is a formidable rider. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, she's won regional titles, I think 30 titles, Hungarian titles, if I'm not mistaken.
I would definitely believe that. I mean, she's also had a podium at a World Cup cross country, 4th place at Shiraz in 2018. So we know what she can do on a bike. It's going to be interesting to see, how much effort they put in. So, there's 3 or 4 of them there, at the front of the pack. There's still no one has broken away yet.
Also, just looking up on that leaderboard, Courtney Webb, you'll see one of our local riders. Well, she's just from around the corner out in Rondebosch. And I get to see her pretty much every week down at the Killarney race circuit, where they do their crit league. She's a formidable rider. On Thursday night, I watched her. I tell you what, Andrew, it's something to watch when a rider just finds that power, and she just absolutely exploded. She's up on the leaderboard at the moment, the young Courtney Webb. She crossed over from mountain biking to road cycling, and as I said, she's a great rider. Courtney, well done. It's great to see you. So we're going to cross over to Courtney now. There we go. Courtney Webb, a young rider from Rondebosch. I'm not sure if you know who she is. I watched her come up the ranks in the XCO scene probably about 5 years ago. She was a young lady. Her father, great sort of riding partner. They were there together on Thursday. So welcome to it, guys, and great to see you up the top of the list there.
It makes sense, though, coming from crit racing. I would think crit racing is one of the best things that would correlate to, say, this distance and this style of riding, because there's no real free kilometers out there on Zwift. You've always got to be turning the pedals. And crit racing is like there's no time to take a break. I mean, if you even hesitate, you'll lose the bunch and you won't catch them again.
Yeah, 100%. And well, there we go. Another one of our local riders, Murata Otto. In fact, we did a tour together a couple of years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago. We did a 7-day ride together, Murata. She is an adventure sports lady, and she gets to tour the world and ride around the world. Samara Shepherd from New Zealand, and also in the mix there, Catherine Collane. She is an exceptional rider, also pint-sized, but she can put out watts like you won't believe.
And she'll be one to watch for the future. I mean, under 23 road champion 2018,
yep.
So maturing as a rider, and I think it can often come later. You need a lot of mileage to build that machine, to build that engine. Samara Shepherd, I mean, is 3 times national XCO champion, obviously Oceania champion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she'll be pretty good, and she's done our Wines2Whales as well. She's got a 5th in the Chardonnay.
Yeah.
So, a lot of experience there. And it's super interesting to see who's able to put themselves really in the hurt locker this late in the season.
Mariska, can you?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
There we go. We've got her live on screen at the moment. She had a bit of a problem with her bike, but it looks like she's got an amazing team around her that were going crazy and getting her sorted out. Mariska, directly off a overseas trip, you were in Austria, if I'm not mistaken, only 2 weeks ago, and back in Cape Town. Good to see you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a season. Jam-packed 2 weeks, but good to be back.
Well, Andrew was just mentioning that it was quite an odd way that they structured the XCO course in terms of the races within 1 week, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, Mariska, how did you cope with having to race back-to-back? Obviously, it's something that XC riders and downers have never done. What was that like to prepare for, a double header at one venue?
You kind of took it day by day. It was quite intense, but luckily we're used to stage racing though, so it played in our favor, I think.
Well, also just chatting about that, Mariska, I know that you were, I think in the first week that you had felt a bit under the weather. I know you missed the short race in the beginning of the week, but you came back fighting.
Yeah, I got sick the Monday and the Tuesday around. So, I mean, stomach issues kind of knock you, but I'm there, and South African fighting spirits wasn't going to sit back, so I gave it my all. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to secure the result I wanted, but I mean, I was there, I got to race my bike and spend some time with my team, so very happy.
We're just talking about the team. Andrew, I mean, you know the top end of racing, and the team is based overseas. Mariska's based here. Mariska, does that get tough on just the experience of having a combined team, that whole sort of togetherness thing?
I think this year it was more difficult than it usually is, but I actually prefer being based in South Africa. Our weather is amazing, and then you have the benefit of having a support structure in the base when you get to Europe. So it's the best of both worlds for me.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're glad to see that you finally got a very cool break and with a very cool team. I remember that announcement you had told me probably about a year ago now that it had happened. So exceptional that you got put into such an amazing team.
Thanks so much, Sean.
All right, Andrew, we're going to cross over to one of the tallest men that I know in mountain biking, and Matt Beers, can you hear us?
Yep.
All right, Matty, if you can hear us, good to have you here. How are you feeling, bud?
It's getting hard. Alan is doing his usual half wheel, so even on Zwift, you can't escape him, so I'm making it hard for him. A little love battle going on here.
Well, you can see that climb. So Andrew, that's a bit of a climb that they're going up. You can see Matt is out of the saddle now. It really starts working those legs.
Matt, did you put any internal friendly wager on against Alan? Because it seems like you're pretty motivated after catching back up and now being at the tall end of the field here.
No, I mean, I know he had difficulty, so setting up the train and stuff, but now he's riding, so yeah, we train together, we feed off of each other's, you know, trying to one-up each other all the time, so it correlates to everything we do. So
do you think
it's a bit toxic, but it's fine.
You say it's toxic, but do you think it's actually driving you both to become better riders?
Yeah, no, I was just joking, but yeah, it's helped me tremendously. I don't know about him, but we feed off of each other, and yeah, I think we've both contributed to each other's success to a degree.
Well, I see you guys down at the crit racing every now and then. I saw you guys 2 weeks ago, and just great to see them actually coming out to ride. I know it's a far way to travel, Somerset West, all the way down to the Milnerton area to come and race the Killarney Thursdays. Matt, does that fit into part of your training schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I've always done it since I pretty much started racing, and Midge and they're super sweet ladies. They do it out of their heart, and I like to support that, and it's just Oaks take it super serious. I just use it as training, so they get upset, but we're all good mates, so.
And listen, they'll be hearing what you just said, the likes of some of the guys that we get to see every single day out there. And we know that you're just training while they're busy getting drilled.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all of the guys are, as I'd call them, working class heroes. So they busting their ass like in the morning on Zwift, and they still put the hurt box on me. And I think that's great. Like, it shows that you don't have to be, they're just super dedicated.
Very, very cool, Matt. We're just going to cross over to Kyle Brown, one of our community riders. We're not going to chat to them. We're just going to watch and see what they're doing.
Well, that's what we're doing best, is living through them and watching them suffer. So Matt Beers is pretty impressive because he's at the top. He's leading the race, but he's able to have a pretty in-depth conversation with us. Kyle Brown on the other side said he's not having a word with us the whole day. You can see him. These guys, I mean, is a form of blitz. Payments are going to be live. The guys can race. It's still week to come, and they just need to join the group, this Wine2Whales Strava group, log those rides, check the website. I mean, that's cool. You're going to be riding those trails anyway. You might as well throw down a time. You never know what could happen.
100%. So guys, just make sure that you're tracking those Strava results of yours, and you might win yourself a BH bike valued at 90,000 Rand. Right, we're heading on to our pro men, Andrew. There we go. We were just chatting about the young man from, well, we can't say young man, 34 years old, Eddie Hull, if I'm not mistaken. Eddie, you can correct me with that in our interview later. A young man from Eastern Cape. And as I said, Andrew, he pushed out on Wednesday night formidable races.
Yeah, I think we're seeing some of the screenshots, and they were getting it verified because obviously it's such a new style of racing. We're not really sure how it all works some of the time. So it's crazy to see the power he can put out. I think some of the pros would aspire to some of that he's able to sustain it for so long. But Matt Beers is really, I mean, he's in the studio here, so we can, just look over. Yeah. And he barely looks like he's in the hurt locker, which is also impressive. So, strong guy. He's our reigning Wine2Whales champ, 2 years running.
Yeah, so he knows exactly what he needs to do. Eddie, so it'd be interesting to see what happens towards the end of this race. In fact, we're 22 Ks in out of the 29, so there's another climb that they're going to hit very soon. And let me tell you, I think Eddie Hull is a great, great climber.
Yeah, it would make sense if he's able to put those watch out and sustain it, especially when the climbs come. Maybe not the most powerful rider compared to some others, but even though he does well in the sprints. But yeah, if you can sustain that wattage, then climbing for you is just kind of second nature.
So depending on what the results are, call this one. If Eddie Houle and Matt Beers first and second, either way, I'd like to have a rematch on a longer ride together. Because I think Matt Beers, he's a bit of a locomotive, so he can get going at 30, 40 Ks. He can then put the hammer down and make anyone look like an amateur.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point that you bring up. We have to remember that it's 29 Ks. It's a total different format. Matt Beers is a stage racing expert here, so he gets going, like you say, later in the race. He can sustain it for longer and then do it day after day after day. That's what he trains for. He's not exactly training for a 29-kilometer all-out sprint.
100%. So up in the top of the ranks there at the moment, first in Matt Beers, and he's right next to us. We can actually watch him through.
We're going to start smelling him, I think, all that sweat that he's dripping off there. So,
but he looks so relaxed, so composed on his bike. What a great guy. So Eddie Houle, he's out in the Eastern Cape area now, East London, if I'm not mistaken. Alan Hathley. Still on Matt Beers at the moment. So just some technical info in terms of this specific course. If you're on a mountain bike and you've chosen your race weapon of choice, the Specialized Epic is the one that they always say that you should go for. In terms of the road bikes, there's something slightly different. I think it's the Canyon. So it is that, it's incredible. These guys can take virtual bikes. It's like playing a game, a video game, or what our kids play with. So, and those avatars there, you can see it now. That's Aaron Borrell. I'm not too sure what bike he's on there now. I think it's just one of the Zwift bikes. It would have been very cool if we could have got him on board, because he is like the technical wizard of Zwift racing. So Aaron, if you listen to us all the way in London, he's about an hour behind us in terms of time. He said it was very cold out there. Josh Lowe, Team Asler. This is the community ride, Team Racing. I get to chat to these guys quite often. He could keep it as well. He's a very, very good rider. He's very young, 23 years old, from Somerset West. Andrew, I don't know if you know Josh Lowe, but he's a really great rider.
No, but I'm impressed. It's my hometown of Somerset West. We've actually produced a lot of good cyclists, and I'm not trying to plug myself. I'm now just washed up and watching people hurt. But, the likes of Jaco Venter has gone to Olympics.
Yeah.
The past Erica Green, famous female two-time Olympian.
Yeah.
Now you've got Evan cool, because we've got Stellenbosch right there. You've got the coast. I'm proud of it.
Well, we're coming up to the final couple of meters. In fact, we've got 900 meters to go. And Mr. Dewey, I think, in fact, they're also from Somerset West. So the Somerset West boys are reigning at the moment. Who have we got in first place there on the Champions Chase? The FNB Wines2Whales. It's almost about to wrap itself up. And we're still on board. We can see Josh just creeping in on... let's see what we can see there now as they go across the line. So quite a bit of stats coming through as we chat to you guys. Once again, we're almost there. There's probably about 400 meters to go. You'll see the archway as our community riders are going to take it. It's going to be interesting to see where Eddie Houle, Matt Beers, Alan Hathley. There we go, crossing the line. Well done to Mr. Dewey, Cross Bicycles. I think they are Somerset West based, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's coming up quite a lot, but that's really cool. We knew it was going to be tough for the pros to catch all the community riders because it is a short loop And like we know, a lot of these guys are spending a lot of time on Zwift. They're dedicated. It doesn't matter if they have a job, they're up early working. So that's nice to give them some credit where credit's due. Great performance from them.
Well, we're going to go to our ladies now. Annika Langval, there we go, crossing from her studio. You can see, not even breaking a sweat. I don't think she can hear us, but Annika, well done. Great ride from you. In fact, I'm just looking at the leaderboard there. And we've got Courtney Webb also in the mix at the moment. She's one of our community riders. Let's have a look. Just trying to see where they are. 24.6 Ks in. So they've got about 4 Ks to go.
No, this is the final stretch. Looks like Annika's just playing it safe, kind of checking what her competitor is going to do and will do. So they've, it's pretty cool. It's going to come down to a sprint finish.
As Andrew mentioned early on, she has retired from professional racing. It's rather a sad thing to hear because she's a formidable rider.
No, she's been great for the sport, and that time always comes. So it's really interesting when someone makes that decision when I think from the outside you feel they're still in their prime, they can still perform. Why would you walk away from it? But it's great to see someone back their decision and feel like time was right. They've done a lot in the sport and they want to kind of see what else life has to offer for them.
100%. Well, you said she's into dentistry, in fact a qualified dentist. Well, there you can see the volcanoes, so that's where we're racing at the moment. And 25.2 kilometers in, we've got, nice to be on board with Courtney Webb. Courtney, great to have you at the top end of the field. I watched you race on Thursday evening. You were absolutely incredible and you're doing a really great job here with some of the world's best. Annika Langval, as we said, Barbara Benko, Murata Otto, very, very impressive from that young lady. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, she's from the KZN area, and Catherine Collane, I think Paul, if I'm not mistaken.
No, she resides in Paul, and she's really been making some roads there in the road scene, so it'll be interesting to see how she develops.
Yep, I got to watch her about 3 weeks ago. We had the first of the XCO, or the third of the XCOs, but first post lockdown, and it was interesting to see Catherine Collane almost in a way come out of nowhere to go and dominate in the elite ladies racing field. It was at Paul Kluwer. It was a muddy day and she just absolutely obliterated. So well done, Kathy. Nice to have you on board here today as well. So still on board with Courtney Webb, a young lady from the Rondebosch area. And let's see, she's at 26 Ks in. Can we? Nah, 100%. So just getting some info on Courtney Webb, and I do remember that because I actually brought her onto stage. Courtney Webb took the varsity league last year at Wines2Whales. It was on the Monday through to the Wednesday, and Courtney Webb and her partner did an exceptional job. As I said, she's a young lady on a mission. She's a very humble, very approachable young lady, and she's doing exceptionally well. So let's have a look, Andrew. We're at 27th, so they're almost. Just chat to our guys on the other side here. What happened with Matt and Alan? We can't see them. Great stuff. Well, now we can hear Matt Beers breathing. We can actually hear the sound of his lungs pumping out those watts at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like he's put some time into the other riders, and if the leaderboard is correct, but it should be, it looks like he's a little bit ahead, so it looks like he's put some time into the other back from what I can see. So, hey, that's pretty cool from the, the reigning champion.
Yeah.
Okay. Our FNB Wines2Whales.
Andrew, sorry to interrupt you. We're going to go back to Annika. They're about to cross the line. Let's just have a look at this. There we go. Look at that. You can see it. She is absolutely hammering it out at the moment.
One last race for her. She's out of retirement. She's here on the FNB Champions Chase. We haven't pulled up her time yet. There it is. We've switched over. So you can see she's got about 2 bike lengths on Webb. And you kind of can think, you would have thought that was going to happen with you went to win.
Yeah, 100%.
There we go. And I think we're back. We're hearing that we had a power surge in the building. That's crazy.
Well, anything can happen when you
happen and do it virtually.
Live, and it's virtual, so it has happened. But we're still streaming, we're still live. I can see Matt Beers in the studio next to us. Maddie, how are you doing? I know you just finished. How are you feeling?
But we managed to do it a bit unnecessary on my part, but it's fine.
Coach is not going to be happy with what you did this morning.
No.
But, Andrew, I mean, just in terms of to anyone that's watching in at the moment, 29.6 kilometers doesn't seem like a lot, but on average, Matt was putting out about 350 to almost 500 watts. So it's massive.
I'm just trying to understand what the motivation was, Matt. I mean, the Alan Hathany or giving back to charity? You know which one to answer.
I'll say both.
That's a good answer.
Because Alan is the king of Zwift.
Yeah.
And I know the only way I can beat him is if I get away from him and not in a sprint. And yeah, it'll be, I mean, the guys do a great job on all our trails, and yeah, incredible. I mean, I don't even know how they do it. I've built some trails in my time, and it is super, super difficult. So yeah, I think it grows our community. So.
Well, thanks, Matty Beers. We crossed briefly there to Annika Langveld, who's about to take this one. In fact, if we can maybe cross over back to her, there we go. You can just see it on her face, Andrew.
Well, they're coming into the last kilometre here, and she hasn't been able to drop Webb. So as we expected, we might see a sprint finish.
Well, let's see what she does. There's a kilometre in it, kilometre to go, and it's going to be an exciting finish. In fact, Courtney's gone back up into first. So now it's all about experience. There we go. There's the power. 500 meters. Look at that. She's out of the saddle. And it looks like Courtney's able to just hang on there. She's hanging on the back wheel.
She's absolutely keeping her honest there. She's coming back. So Annika with the half wheel there, but Webb is not going away. Courtney is not having any of this. This is something that'll probably mean quite a lot to Courtney Webb. So potential, a lot of, intrinsic motivation there.
Yeah. And look at that, they're on neck. Annika out of the saddle again, both of them out of the saddle now. This is going to go to the wire.
There's a little cat and mouse game here.
Jeez.
This is brilliant. There you can see Annika, she's giving it her all. And it doesn't even look like it's enough at the moment. Courtney is sneaking ahead.
Oh man, this is going to go all the way. You'll see it actually now as they come around this little bend.
Now, will there be a last push from Annika? What can she do?
Oh, she's
here?
right out of that. She's going to break that train of hers. Look at that. Man, oh man. And let's see who goes across the line first there. Was that Courtney? Yeah.
We'll have to wait for the official results there. It almost looked like Courtney kept her real honest there and hung on to it.
Yeah, she did. So to anyone that is looking in and you've never seen Zwift racing and what the actual rider looks like, well, there you go in the bottom of your screen. That's a 5-time XCM champ that looks like she's absolutely broken.
Yeah, I mean, I think that effort will be harder than a marathon effort because a marathon's a lot longer. You can't push out that power for as long. So this definitely will hurt. And anyone that's done intervals knows a 30 seconds interval is almost worse than a 5-minute one because you can go maximum.
Yeah, so Annika has left us already. All right, looks like we can cross over to Annika. How's it, Annika? How are you feeling off that massive effort?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you are live. How's it going, Annika? How are you feeling?
Okay, perfect. Whew. That was a tough one. Yeah, I'm sad that we didn't get to catch any of the amateur rides. We literally didn't see one single one. So yeah, that was a little bit of a shame. But then it turned out to be a very, very exciting, very hard race, mainly with Courtney at the end. So that was really good fun.
Yeah, I must admit, to watch the experience that you have and a young lady like Courtney Webb, just to watch that last kilometre, Andrew, that was incredible stuff.
Yeah. So the thing is, I don't think I've ever, honestly, I've never raced head-to-head with Courtney before. So I don't know how she is as a rider, what her strengths are and so on. So I had to test it out during the race, but it was really good fun. And she was just having such a strong sprint. In the end, I tried to give it everything, but I just couldn't go faster.
Yeah, she's, let me tell you, I've been watching her the last couple of weeks in training on the road bike, and she can put down power and sustain it for a very, very long time. But I mean, Annika, we could see the type of effort you were putting into it. The visuals were there. It was massive.
Yeah, it was really hard. So, well, I haven't been training a lot lately. Not that that should be any excuse, but it was a pretty good workout today. I've been doing a lot of Zwift in the winter here in Denmark, just because sometimes the weather is so bad, so need to train inside. So I kind of know the tactics a little bit, but still take some tours. This is a really fun way to mix it up a little bit.
Annika, congrats on what was an incredible career. We know you've announced your retirement. Does this help you with that decision on how painful this race was? Or are we going to see you sneak back every now and then into Zwift racing?
No, so the whole purpose of retiring is to back off a little bit. I will do esports worlds at the beginning of December though. Oh. But other than that, I don't have anything planned, and well, not in near future. But yeah, all the South African races have always played a really big part in my life and in my career. So I know for sure you'll see me down there sooner or later. Yeah, but there's a lot of things to take into account at the moment, especially the pandemic and stuff. But yeah, you can be sure that I'll come back. I'll be back.
Well, that's great stuff, Annika. Great to hear that you'll be back in SA, and we look forward to it. It's always great to see you on SA soil, and we hope that with the pandemic and what's been happening, we hope we can go back to normal, hopefully in 2021. We know that there's some big stuff happening in the reverse, or the switchback at least, for next year. So, Annika, if you're still up for it, next year, October, November, we'll be doing the Wines2Whales. It's going to go ahead as planned in reverse.
Okay, cool. That's really good news.
Thanks, Annika. We are going to just leave you for a bit. We're going to there we go. Courtney, how are you, my dear? It's great to see you in the virtual world. We get to see you every week out on your bike. You had an amazing race this morning. How are you feeling?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, that was a good race. Very exciting all the way to the end. Yeah, it was pretty hard. There were a good few hard efforts, and then right at the end it was really tough sprint. Annika went really, really, really early for a sprint, so it was a hard one to the end.
So Courtney, in lieu of what's just happened, could we possibly see maybe a pairing between yourself and Annika Langveld for next year's Wines2Whales? Maybe a team race next year?
Maybe. I'm not too sure. I'm sort of surprised myself with that one, so I don't know. Guess anything can happen.
I think I need to chat to Dad and try and see if we can arrange a team, and we'll get Annika involved, and she can fly out next year this time. Andrew, you got any questions there for an amazing young lady?
Courtney, well done. I think it's really awesome to see. And yes, people might say it's a Zwift race, but you clearly showed how much work you've been putting in. Can you take some kind of real-world confidence from this?
Yeah, sure, I guess. I wasn't really expecting... I didn't really know what to expect going into the Zwift race. I have been Zwifting a lot this year, so I think just having that experience because of lockdown and stuff helped me. And I mean, seeing the numbers on the side of the Zwift screen always just sort of helps my confidence outside, because I know, like in my mind, that I can push those numbers. So it's a good thought to have when riding or racing outside.
Well, congrats. I think that was an incredible ride. It was really fun for us to watch, and all the best for the future.
Yeah, I think, Courtney,
thank you.
I'll also say good luck for the future. I think you've got a very bright future. As I said, I get to see you on a Thursday evening, and you've come through the ranks. I think you've done exceptionally well. In fact, Wines2Whales winner last year for the Varsity Cup edition of it. It was yourself and Amy, if I'm not mistaken. Who was your partner last year?
Amy Tate. She also studies at UCT.
And we'd like to see you guys back next year, 2021, with the Switchback edition, as JK said. It's going to be great. So thanks, Courtney. Great chatting to you.
Here at the FNB Wines2Whales, the route is king. And part of the story of the route is the Cape Trail guys, a dream team of guys who made this race what it is. Without them, this race wouldn't be as special. They're a special bunch of guys, and I don't think anyone who's ridden the trails here will ever disagree with that. It speaks for itself. You know, the farmers here, they've done their own trails and so on, but they've included the Cape Trail guys for some help, guidance on how to build, so there's continuity and a certain level of quality of build.
Trail development or trail building in the Western Cape that's the way your brain is wired, bro.
They build a flow to a trail. It rides nicely. It's fun. It's flowing. And that also takes a keen eye. And these guys build them to handle the rigors of 3 events, 1,200 riders per event going through there. That's a lot of traffic, and they're last. Because they ride bikes, they also know how it feels. But they ride everything they build, which I think adds to their quality.
So I just get normally landowner permission. They go in, they build. And now these days, I just go and check them like weekly or 2 weekly.
I think the success of this race can only be attributed to somebody like JK and the Cape Trail guys.
It's been a crazy morning, Andrew. Great to see our riders in studio. Great to be able to patch into riders all over the world. Just remember, folks, and maybe you can chat us through the Strava for the next couple of days.
Yeah, make sure you guys go to the website, go to Strava. There is a Wine2Whales Strava club there, and that means you can go out and ride your local trails or find a trail that you maybe haven't ridden. Make sure you check out the Strava segment, log a time, put it in there because there's going to be a lot of prizes and giveaways. There's obviously, we gave away 2 entries to next year's Wine2Whales. There's 2 more. There's FNB vouchers, there's kit to be won, there's all sorts.
Not to forget some Oakley glasses, and there's a few pairs of those, kit bags and that type of thing. So go out and get yourself on Strava and go and hopefully win. I mean, just you can win a bike as well. How cool is that? So yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic day. I think our riders did a formidable job. I mean, to watch those ladies, it's always exciting. There's just always such competitiveness with the ladies.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're racing in person or virtually. You can see everyone's competitive nature come. You see how hard they were riding, and great ride by Matt Beers as well. And that was a really fun format. I think the world is going in a weird direction sometimes that we see. So really cool to see that. Well done to all the riders and to Wines2Whales for putting on such a fun event for us.
Yeah, thank you folks for tuning in. Thanks to our riders in the next studio, Mariska and Matt Beers, that came through this morning to the studios here at the Wines2Whales studio in Cape Town. Thanks folks for joining us. It's been a fantastic day. Andrew, thanks for joining me in studio.
Pleasure.
And well, we can't wait to go back to reality next year for 2021. And remember, it's going ahead. We're going to have some fun next year. Cheers, guys.